Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome, astrology friends and family. Welcome to August. Eclipse activity starts now, and also we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde shenanigans as my neighbor's mowing his lawn. Maybe I can edit this out later. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so we're dealing with a lot of planets in retrograde. The outer planets are in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Uranus will start to retrograde in September. Mercury will be retrograding August 4th, and we won't clear shadow period until somewhere near the mid of September. Also, we'll be getting into the Chiron retrograde soon as well, too. Okay, so let's try and have fun while we can. Leo season, the next few weeks are the time to really keep enjoying, especially with everything slowing down. Vacation when and where we can, time spent with children, having fun, theater, outdoor theater, concerts, putting yourself out there, leadership in the community. Don't be afraid to take those chances, put yourself out there, put your work out there, your creativity. Now's the time with all this goodness in Leo. Love Leo season. I'm an Aquarius rising, so naturally I'm always, loving all things Leo. They're my other end of the spectrum there. Okay, let's get into the eclipses because you will start to be feeling some of this eclipse activity. Now the eclipse will happen in September, but as you may already be aware, the feelings and rumblings of eclipse activity can start happening about a month before, and then it usually kicks off a new 6-month cycle until you have the eclipse in the opposite sign. What we're going to be experiencing is kind of the fading out of the Aries Libra eclipses. The last Libra eclipse will be in September, and the last Aries eclipse will be next March 2025. So we still have, several months to work on those themes of that axis if things haven't been accomplished yet in those areas. We also have Chiron still in Aries as well. Okay, so on September 17th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at, let me check, 25 degrees. And this will be affecting those born with Pisces or Virgo placements anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees and 0 to 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, mom and dad, Aries the warrior, and Libra the lover. All right, the eclipse will start to highlight all the things that are Pisces, Virgo, prior to the nodes shifting into those signs by next spring. We will have the nodes of fate and one last set of eclipses wrapping up, like I mentioned, on the Aries, Libra axis for the next 6 months. Okay, so knowing that, this activity can be felt now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, especially with everything, so many planets being retrograde. Yeah, okay, so in the Pisces area of our charts is where we are going to see some of this activity. After having so much Aries self-directed energy over the past year, pushing us to take initiative and propelling us forward in that Aries part of our sky, and also healing a wound since Chiron has been there. We could have started to be aware of that and started working on that in the past year or so. And like I said, if you haven't done so yet or initiated something of great importance to you yet, don't worry. There are still several months left of this Aries Libra story, especially with Chiron and then also, the nodes of fate and the eclipses happening there as well. So what does this mean? So we will now be taking in and further integrating, the healing process, especially with Pisces and Neptune coming into the picture, forcing us to kind of slow down and integrate those changes that have been coming in internally or externally, slowly or rapidly over the past year. Rahu, the North Node, can speed things up. If you started your own business, for example, that would be like a very self-initiated Aries type of thing. Now and in the next year and a half, you could be developing like a sacred space in your home or devoting a special space to work in that, you can paint and decorate, plants, Doesn't have to be just for business either. It could be a sacred space you use just as your own, like getaway, quiet time to meditate, rest, writing, creativity, listen to music, to I don't care if you just go there to daydream. It will be a really great thing to do. All right, and although with Saturn here in Pisces until 2026, he's structuring those dreams to help you make them come true. So any kind of like blockages you feel that you may come up against with Saturn there in Pisces, it's only to slow you down to make sure that the things that you're putting into place are solid and stable and can withstand the test of time. That's what Saturn likes anyway. The other end of this axis is Virgo, and Virgo will help you. Virgo will help you organize yourself to make those Pisces creative dreams come true. You can pull your projects out of the ethers and put them onto paper, to film, to clay, to actual music, to whatever it is that is your creative inspiration or muse. Lunar eclipses also can be a very emotional time. They can trigger relationship endings or breakthroughs, and even good breakthroughs can be emotional. I feel this time and over the next year and a half, we can really find our way through that Aries wound that we've had, or maybe we didn't even realize that we had it. For example, like maybe Chiron in Aries has been transiting through your second house of self-worth and your face and your earnings, your bank account, what you put into your mouth, and maybe you realize you didn't know that you had a bad habit relating to food, and it's kind of come up to be looked at over the past year or so. Maybe you have an allergy that you found out you had and you didn't know it based on what you were eating, and now you have this time to kind of start integrating those changes. Pisces is very healing, heal your body or whatever might have ailed you. So we could really maybe start to make progress in standing up for ourselves as well. Aries is a warrior. Is not afraid of standing up for himself, herself. We can also have been learning how to not be codependent, and maybe we're starting to make our own money instead of depending on another. Maybe we're healing long-standing relationship issues or issues about self-worth, your body, your identity. These types of healing changes can be very emotional and even in a good way. And if you haven't, like I mentioned, seen these changes yet, not to worry. We still have several months left with the nodes of fate, Chiron, and the eclipses here to help you quickly make changes for the better in the Aries Libra part of your sky. Kind of grand finale next March 2025. This Pisces eclipse is the first in the cycle, and it's possibly just highlighting or giving that first little nudge of awareness or discontent around emotions, spirituality, relationships, as full moons and lunar eclipses can relate to relationships, your home, your family, motherhood, mothering, as the moon rules Cancer. And anytime you have lunar eclipses, you always kind of look to the Cancer part of your sky and see how that area is being triggered at that time as well. Crisis can happen as we are made aware of imbalances in these areas as well. Some relationships can end for new ones to begin if there's been trouble in those areas. And on the other side, if there have been problems that are being brought to light at the time of this full moon, there may be a path forward to find some healing, and maybe you can grow and progress together if that is something that you're in a relationship and you would want to work on. There can also be fulfillment of creative projects or drama at the time of the full moon, especially with it being the first in this new eclipse cycle. You can also get sudden dreams, downloads, or inspirations about creative projects, music, acting, film, etc. How to help maybe marginalized peoples, issues with the ocean, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit or become part of a nonprofit that helps ocean animals or comes up with fishing net solutions or oil spills. And really interesting note on that, just to kind of show you how the stuff is already starting to come into play, is I went to go get my hair trimmed the other day, and what I found out was kind of cool is that they charge an extra $2, a $2 fee when you're getting your hair, cut colored, whatever. And what they do is they use the clippings from the salon to make these hair mats that then are used to soak up oil spills in the ocean. And they're really effective at it as well. They just kind of, and there's a video you can watch online where you can see that, there's the oil spill, which is horrible. And they put these like hair mats in and it just kind of sucks it up. So already we're going to start seeing these types of things come to the forefront, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love the ocean, right? Know that if you do come up with or receive, inspiration downloads, that you should act on them not at the time of the full moon, but act on them as in like writing them down. Keep a pen or your tablet or whatever it is you use to write on at the ready starting now. Know that these will be divinely guided, divine downloads. I don't think there'll be anything coincidental about this. Also, with this being the Pisces Virgo axis, and Virgo rules health and organization and service, work, pets, we could have health challenges that might come up to the surface at this time to be healed, or we could have endings to jobs that no longer serve our well-being, with new paths being illuminated to more fulfilling work, or spiritual paths might come through. Maybe you find a need in your community and you decide, you know what, I'm done with administrative work and I want to create my own or nonprofit or become a founder of my own nonprofit and helping children in my community who suffer from, not having enough to eat or clothing or school supplies. And you can start a small movement there, and that would be a really beautiful thing to do. So, just an idea. Okay. Also, what are some other things that could happen? This is also the other end, because we're talking about the 6th house and the 12th house axis. 6th house also represents small pets, and that's in the Virgo house. A pet can have issues or pass at this time if they've been struggling with health issues, but also a new one can come in. New fated pet, and fears and addictions can come up at this time as well. 12th house does represent addictions, and we can find ways to heal our mind, especially with Virgo at the opposite end. We can look for and find a great and destined healer at this time. The Virgo axis can also help you get organized and clean up that area of your life if you are suffering from addictions or bad health habits, and get yourself pulled together, especially if you were in your head too much, or also if you've been unable to pull your dreams, out of the ethers or from your Neptune haze. Those ideas and dreams can get lost up there. And Virgo's really good at solidifying things and making it happen. Excuse me. Let's see. Sometimes Virgo does strive for perfection and it can hamper our creativity. So we'll be working on trying to strike that balance, right, of the creativity and the day-to-day work, and trying to balance the two. At this time, you can, and especially now, right in August, we can start meditating. Anything with like water therapy would be good. Prayer, if you pray, and it doesn't have to be religion, it could be whatever God you pray to. Epsom salts, you could clean up your auric field leading up to this full moon. I always suggest safest bet is nature, rest, sleep. I always try to aim for like 7 or 8 hours, and it's almost always a win, especially preparing for those jitters that you can start to get during eclipse activation periods. Having magnesium to root yourself down a little bit and to kind of root down and anchor your nervous system. Magnesium rich foods like black beans and sweet potato and stuff like that. But always check with your doctor or your dietitian if you have any kind of health issues, or if you're unsure if you can eat those types of things. You can also make little simple changes to your diet, like more water, fresh fruits, chemical free food, vegetables. Try to do like a no alcohol. I know that might be hard for some, in these last beautiful weeks of summer that we'll be having. It's hard at barbecue or hanging out at the beach with friends, but maybe you can make a mocktail, something like that. Start working on a creative project. That's another great way to use this energy. Jot down those major insights that can happen now. And this is also a really kind of interesting period where loved ones who have crossed over may start to appear or send messages to you in odd ways as the veil begins to thin. These are just some of the ideas that I'm giving you, and I will describe what the beginning of this new cycle means for each of you in all of the 12 signs, and I will also probably talk more in depth about it the closer we get to the eclipse and, as we proceed with this, the shifts of the nodes and everything else. So, yeah, all right, well, let's get started.
Aries sun, moon, and rising, this Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle is going to kick off on September 17th at 25 degrees Pisces in your 12th house. It will be a partial lunar eclipse at the time of the full moon. The last eclipse will be in your sign March of 2025, wrapping up a profound nodal eclipse chironic cycle affecting the me-we axis of the 1st and 7th house. The focus has been on you since July of 2023. Your health, your body, where you live, relationships with others, self-esteem, rejuvenation, and healing. You could have been healing a chiron wound around your identity, your physical identity, or your internal one. And significant healing could have begun or maybe beginning now. You still have 6 months of hosting chiron, the nodes, and the eclipses in your sign. You could start to see results or finish seeing results by next spring. And you could have, changed home or partners as well at this time, or not focused on them at all, choosing over the past year to take care of yourself, your career, and your appearance. You could have had significant career changes, significant home changes, fated partners coming in, or other people leaving your life at this time. By the time the North Node leaves your sign and transits into Pisces, your 12th house, you'll be kind of processing all of these changes. And the focus over the next year and a half, starting in September with Pisces, will be rest, recuperation, working behind the scenes, possible travel to distant shores or pilgrimage, money from foreign shores could be a big topic over the next year and a half. Whatever projects you are working on or will be putting work into will maybe require sustained efforts because Saturn is in Pisces in the 12th house and will remain there until 2026. But by the time he leaves, you could have total sovereignty over your new path in life and control over where you are heading, especially in the realm of creative projects, music, fantasy, film, offshore business. Your title, how you're known in the world could be vastly different by the time Saturn leaves here, as he naturally rules your 10th house of career and reputation in the world and your 11th house. This could also be tech or apps you are designing, as Saturn is Aquarius' ancient ruler and rules the 11th house of internet and future technology. So maybe you're working hard, Saturn, on future technology, which would be the 11th house, or science, also ruled by the 11th. You may also be traveling to foreign shores for cosmetic procedures with this axis of eclipses starting up in September. And you still have that one more eclipse in your first house next March of 2025. And this balances out your 6th house of health and your 12th house of faraway rest. So you could also seek out medical treatment as well, as the 12th house can represent hospitals, asylums, institutions, etc. Hopefully you didn't overwork yourself too much with the North Node having been in your first house and worked yourself into bed rest by fall. But if you begin new projects, or if you have a dream you want to bring out into the world, even with Saturn here, the North Node can speed this process along. In Virgo, your 6th house with the South Node will enter by next spring, and the eclipses will start firing up over the next year. You'll be letting go of old jobs, work environments that no longer resonate with you. In extreme cases, you may let go of a pet who maybe had health issues. Also, a destined or fated pet could come into your life. You could have wrapped up or perfected something related to the written word, as Mercury rules the 6th house. And you could be letting go of constant travel for work, or maybe relocate to a new place for work. Spiritual journeys can also happen and be a focus with the 12th house. Or you could be developing deep spirituality that can shake you out of a mundane work or health rut, like a pilgrimage to a temple or a faraway land. This can also come up for you. Changing your job as a 9-to-5 employee, and starting up maybe a metaphysical practice, or maybe starting up a nonprofit that helps marginalized peoples or people in need. Because the 12th house can also be a house of deep compassion, especially being ruled by Neptune and Pisces. You could also, over the next year and a half, be creating a sacred space in your home for working from home, or to meditate. For some, if a health issue or crisis comes up or came up, it can be enforcing change and deep rest. The 12th house, where Pisces is, could be helping you heal and rest there. And maybe change the way that you take care of yourself and finding more meaning in your day-to-day life and the work that you do. Check back or come back to this video over the next few months or year and a half and let me know how this is working out for you and see if this is resonating. Take care, Aries, and we'll see you soon. Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The August 4th new moon at 12 degrees Leo trines you, especially the middle degrees, Sun, Moon, and Aries. Trines you, you're still holding the North Node and Chiron in your first house, or on your Sun or Moon. This new moon in Leo will be making a trine to you, a sextile to Mars and Jupiter, which are both in Gemini in your third house right now. What this could look like are continued stories, but positive ones, around your appearance, selfhood, communication projects, neighborhood, travel, social apps, writing. Mercury is retrograde, or starts to retrograde on August 4th. It has already been, you've probably been feeling it since the middle of July. Mercury will remain retrograde until August 28th. Right now you're being given the chance to maybe literally rewrite your own story, change, the way, your face looks, or your image, your clothes, your hair, the way you communicate, communication projects that are creative in nature. This new moon could also portend new love or new beginnings in love if you're attached. Maybe if you're focused on yourself and not thinking about the other right now. And that's very likely since the North Node has been focused on you in your first house. You could be paying attention more to your work, children, creative projects, or self-love. Has new beginnings here now too. With Mars as your ruler over in the third house right now until September 4th, Mars is in Gemini in the third. Moving around and traveling a lot at this time for pleasure or work could be happening. I mention work because Mercury is involved with this new moon and also rules your third house naturally. And Mercury is retrograding in Virgo, and that is happening up in your sixth house of health and daily routines, and then moves back into Leo, your fifth house of creativity, right around mid-August, giving you a little bit more time to have a little bit more fun before summer ends. But right now you could be revising work projects or projects where you use your voice, apps, the computer, writing. You could be focused in the beginning of August on your health and day-to-day chores with Virgo activity happening and especially retrograding in that sixth house. And health practices, seeking out medical personnel, checkups, all those things are really good for you right now and will be for your benefit. Just watch any kind of irritation in communication as Mars rules you and is over in the third house until September 4th. Saturn makes a little crunch to this new moon in Leo over from the 12th house in Pisces. So this could cause, maybe a little bit of loneliness at this time, even if you are in a relationship. So once again, it might be a good time to just be focusing on yourself if possible. You could be feeling a little bit of loneliness with a partner. Maybe a partner is literally at a distance from you. Foreign shores are the 12th house. Maybe you're traveling and they're overseas or you're overseas. With Mercury retrograde over in your sixth house of work and day-to-day environment, day-to-day work and things that you have to do to keep yourself afloat. Could be missed flights due to bad weather or further creating more distance in love, or work alone is just keeping you from intimacy. You may not want to entertain at this time, once again, the time of the new moon. and focus on yourself, which would be the right way to use that energy. The moon moves really fast, so this transit doesn't last very long. And, don't blame others at this time if you're in a bad mood. Just be responsible for yourself. Saturn always wants you to take responsibility. And most importantly, carve time out for you, okay? Because we're talking about the 12th house of rest, where Saturn is sitting kind of looking over at this new moon in Leo. And your creative projects. That would be the best way to use this energy if you can. So carving out a little alone time around the new moon, again, August 4th, to focus on these things. Venus enters Virgo and will be in Virgo from August 5th to August 30th. I might be off by a day. In your 6th house, kind of smoothing out, that area, focusing on a glow up and health and diet, making you look better if your focus is there. Good news through medical pursuits, fitness, maybe you're feeling better, your fitness routine is starting to pay off. What you do for a living, you could be loving that or just enjoying it a lot more with Venus here for the next few weeks. Having a good time, just hanging out with your pets, better work opportunities can come up. Love at work or love at the gym or wherever you go for fitness. Maybe it's just walking in your neighborhood. Maybe it's hiking. Maybe you adopt a pet as well at this time that you absolutely love. All these topics can be amplified because Mercury is also in Virgo. And even though it's retrograde, Mercury is in strength in Virgo. That's its natural home, and will make a conjunction. So Venus and Mercury will make a conjunction on August 8th at 3 degrees exactly, and can be felt from August 5th, coming exact on the 8th, to August 10th. Once again, this is Venus and Mercury making a conjunction, being felt from August 5th to August 10th. Exact date is the 8th at 3 degrees. This can mean that you're doing good in business. You get good business news, good work news, good money news. Venus rules money. Mercury's communication. You could get an email that comes through about a job offer, or a text about, maybe some investments are paying off, or this can also be a good time for socializing, maybe with socializing with people you work with, displays of love or loving communications, or loving communications through text or email or verbally can come through. Just be careful because Mercury is retrograde, and it's always a little bit more potent when he stands completely still, which he'll be doing right around the 4th of August. So just make sure if you're sending loving communication, it goes to the right person, or maybe your messages in love and business aren't reaching the person you thought they did. But if there are any mix-ups, they can be resolved by the second week of September when we clear the shadow period for Mercury retrograde. You can also use these days, again, August 5th through the 10th, to make something with your hands, especially because Mars is in Gemini in the 3rd house, and Gemini rules the hands. Crafts, using your voice in music, and it would be really beautiful with Venus here. Podcasting is another example, and also work contracts. Mercury can rule that area as well, and they would normally be okay to sign. But I really want you to wait until September 12th due to Mercury mischief. Unless it was a contract already drawn up prior to shadow period. So prior to July 15th, old contracts, love and work assignments from the past can come back for review as well. And if that's something that you want to move forward with, I would say that it's probably okay to do so. And this stands for work or old creative projects that were already being worked on, just not starting anything new. On August 15th through September 9th, Mercury will be still retrograde, but it will be going back into Leo in your 5th house for these last few weeks of summer, trining you, giving a last chance at fun in the sun, yoga, sun salutations at the beach, children, lovers, or love, creativity, more time. Possible lotto wins can happen as well. Just don't break the bank buying a lotto ticket. Sporting events, being on stage or being high visibility in a good way, using your voice or being noticed for it can also happen as well. On Monday, August 19th, the full moon in Aquarius at 27 degrees will sextile late degrees Aries, sun, or moons around 24 degrees and up. And here you can free yourself or let go of negative emotions around large friend groups or groups that no longer serve your highest good or that are toxic to you, as Pluto is squaring up to this full moon. You can also get rid of old technology, since Aquarius rules the internet and tech. Just don't buy anything new technology yet, but you could be clearing out and getting rid of old. You could find your people or your groups at this time as well. Or maybe you find a humanitarian group that you would like to join. And on August 22nd, the sun will enter Virgo, going back into your sixth house. Well, it will rejoin with Mercury. So sun and Mercury there will be lighting up, once again, your health, your work, your day-to-day routines, the things that you do to keep your body ticking along, the ways that you earn money. This area will be in high focus for the next several weeks, again, from August 22nd up. So I really see a strong focus in that direction. But, that's typically the way we finish off August, is getting more organized after having a Leo season and fun in the sun. It's time to kind of get back to work and get our diets and schedules back in order, which isn't always a bad thing. Okay, Aries, we'll see you in September.